All right, everybody, welcome back to a brand new video of the series. This is part 7 of the series. As you guys know, this will be a 14-part series. Videos will be dropping daily. I have personally been slacking past the past couple weeks, so I'm going to get back on it. We are back at it. We are back in motion. Now, let's go ahead and start off right here with understanding the topic for today. It is going to be psychology over everything else. So this is going to be very, very important for you guys to figure out why strategies can be only 10% of what makes a profitable trader. So let's go ahead and jump right into our first point. So before we start off with our first point here, if you guys want to see me trade live, if you want to see me journal live, if you want to see everything shown fully authentically from how a trader actually trades in the markets, feel free to join discord.gg/leverage for that private mentorship. One-on-ones are also available as well. Just feel free to hit me up in DMs. If you ever have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to let me know as well. Now let's go ahead and jump into the first understanding of the first question that we are going to talk about today. Why is psychology in trading important? Now, again, why would I have on the bottom right here? Psychology is what makes 90% of profitability. So if we understand that and understand that our mindset and how we make decisions is what's going to bring us that profitability long term, how can we start to fine tune that? And how can we start to refine our own minds and our own selves? Well, your first understanding of why trading is important is going to be for capital preservation. So if we understand that our psychology and how we think is going to allow us to preserve capital, that is going to allow us to stay tuned to a very comfortable system, that we don't start to blow up our profits if we get too impatient, that we don't start to blow up our profits if we start to get on a losing streak. All we have to do is focus on capital preservation. Again, control only what you can control, which is how you preserve your capital, how much you can lose over time. And what goes hand in hand with that is going to be maintaining and growing that capital. So if we can focus on preserving that capital, that will allow us to maintain our capital. If we can maintain our capital, eventually that will lead into the growth of that capital. So if we stay tuned to our strategy, if we stay tuned to our risk management over time, then we will still show that growth of that capital and show that maintenance of that. Again, like we had talked about before, if we do not preserve that, if we are only focused on the outcome, if we are only focused on the gains from each trade, that's going to get us into a very, very dark spiral of losing over and over again, trying to make back gains, trying to revenge trade. All of these things are things we want to stay away from. So focus, again, only on what you can control, which is going to be how much you can lose and when you lose that, right? So capital preservation, maintaining and growing that capital. Now let's get on to the next topic. Now, before we start, I do want to mention that this is part 7 of the series. So if you guys have not seen any other videos yet, please feel free to start off with the introduction on the From Nothing to Profitable series. That will allow you to understand, just starting out as a beginner trading, how we can begin to structure and build a system for ourselves to be able to follow and keep profitable long term. Now, as far as harmful psychological habits go, we need to understand these first to be able to recognize when they pop up in our heads. It's going to be something that takes time to get used to, something that takes experience to understand how to learn ourselves, how to learn how we make decisions, and we'll see how that can reflect as well on the charts. So let's start off with our first one here, which is going to be overtrading. Overtrading is probably going to be one of the most harmful psychological habits to have due to the fact that you are just simply risking more than you should, right? So we are taking way too many trades. For example, if my risk limit was 1 trade per day and I end up trading 2 or 3 times per that single day, then I would be overtrading for that specific day. This can lead to my mindset to now take me to places that I should not be at, with revenge trading, with just trying to catch a move, with just trying to profit on that specific day. Right? We need to understand long term, and we need to understand that that system will allow us to not have to overtrade. So do not overtrade, stick to the system, and continue to follow your rules. Next is going to be over risking. So if we're over risking too much per trade, this can lead to very, very blown accounts and very, very liquidated portfolios very quickly. So stop risking too much per trade. Only focus on your system that allows you to profit over time. Remember, this is not something that is a get rich quick thing. A lot of things with trading is that the general basis behind it is that it's a get rich quick thing when it is not, right? We must understand that risking too much per trade is going to lead to those blown portfolios much quicker. If I'm risking 10% of my portfolio per trade, that is only 10 trades until that portfolio is blown. So stick to risking based on your rules and do not over risk. The next very, very harmful psychological habit that we must stay away from is our FUD. Now, remember, we are all human. These are emotions that will pop up as we are trading. How we can control them is going to be based on our reactions, not off of just completely blocking out our emotions, because that is impossible. Again, we are humans. So fear under distress, or otherwise known as FUD, is going to be taking trades out of fear or not taking trades out of fear, right? We must understand that we will lose. This is a game where we will lose. So if we continue to stick to controlling that loss and controlling that capital preservation, we won't be in a system or an example of us taking trades out of fear or not taking trades, though, out of fear. Next is going to be FOMO. FOMO is extremely dangerous for a psychological habit to obtain. The reasoning for that is you just taking trades out of fear of missing out or taking trades out of jealousy. Let's say you were scrolling on X, let's say you were scrolling on Twitter, you saw some guru out there make a bunch of money in a little bit of time, and you want to be able to do the same thing. We must understand that even if that guru was legit and that guru was making money, it's based on a very, very small risk percentage of their portfolio. So let's say they made a couple thousand in a specific trade, but that would only be their 1% risk. So don't try to go into the market with $100 trying to make $1,000 every single trade. Focus on that system that you have built over time. Again, the power of compounding is very, very slept on. So we must stay away from that FOMO, just taking trades out of jealousy or taking trades because you saw somebody else make a bunch of money in a little bit of time, and only focus on the system that you have created for yourself. Now let's go ahead and get into the healthy psychological habits that will allow us to maintain and grow capital over time. Now, these are going to be healthy psychological habits to follow. We'll start off here with our first one being our long-term mindset. So always focus on 5 to 10 years ahead from now. Remember, trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. So if we focus on looking to those 5 to 10 years ahead from now, this is something that as a person, you can do over time, right? We want trading to bring us that freedom. We don't want trading just to bring us a little bit of profits and then us be done and us be out of it. Instead, we're focused on consistency over the long term. So if we can stay consistent to our system, that will allow us to grow, maintain, and preserve that capital over that 5 to 10 years, right? Imagine if you're able to find that path, find that growth, find that expertise, and then use that 5 to 10 years down the road. That $100 that you're making per trade now will be $10,000 by then, will be even $100,000 down the road. So focus on that 5 to 10 years ahead from now. Now, you'll notice as a trader, when you start to trade and you start to gain your experience, controlling what you can is going to be the single most objective type of habit that you can use for yourself to be able to prevent your losses and knowing when to stay away. So only focus on controlling what you can. Again, going back to what we said in the beginning, what can you control? How much you lose and when you lose it. So only focus on controlling what you can, which is your loss prevention, and when to stay away. You'll notice that trading is a game of patience, right? We don't sit there and we don't try to trade every single day, 8 hours a day. We are focused on this for freedom. So if we're able to find that time freedom through trading, it is going to be knowing when to stay away, when to stay patient, waiting for the game to show us that hand, and then going ahead and taking the trade from there. So focus only on controlling what you can. Now, with that said, controlling what you can is going to be only the system that you have created for yourself. We are both the CEO and the employee. So as the CEO, we need to set those rules for ourselves, and as the employee, we need to follow those rules. If you are a CEO, you set rules for your employees and they do not show up or they do not perform the way you have for them, then you will not profit the way you are looking to over time. Remember, focus only on the system, not the outcome. The outcome is uncontrollable. We cannot control what happens as far as the outcome goes, but we can focus on the system, we can focus on when we take a trade, and we can focus on how much we put into that specific trade. So only focus on the system and do not focus on the outcome. Going hand in hand with that, one of the easiest things that I have learned for myself is only focusing on the next trade, only focusing on the next setup. You'll notice that when you go out for a walk, why your mind is so clear. The reasoning for that is because you're only focused on the next step ahead. You're only focused on the next foot forward. The same exact thing can apply to trading, and that will allow you to not get caught up in all the BS, all the stuff that's going to put you not where you want to be, and instead only focus on your next trade, only focus on your next step, only focus on your next setup. Now, as far as the summary goes for today, remember, focus only on what you can control. Do not trade for any other reason than your system. Do not trade because of the feeling. Do not trade because you saw somebody else making money. Do not trade because you saw somebody else taking a trade. Take a trade only based on your system, and take a trade only based on the rules that you have set for yourself. Invest in yourself for the long term. Focus on that 5 to 10 years from now. Do not focus on trying to gain the most you can out of that one single trade that you are taking. And last but not least, do not ever stop. This is a game that will test you. This is a game that will test your patience, your mentality, how you make decisions, and you'll notice that it reflects to your day-to-day life. So if you're spending way too much money in real life, you'll be taking way too many trades. That's going to be hand in hand as far as that goes. Do not ever stop. Continue to stay consistent. Continue to stay true to yourself. Continue to stay true to your system. So with that said, thank you guys, everybody who sat here and watched this today. Again, if you were able to sit through this video, you will be able to have the patience for trading. I know you can, and I know you can do it. If you guys want to see me trade live, if you guys want to see everything done fully authentic, from taking the trades to getting payouts to everything, go ahead and join the Discord for the private mentorship at discord.gg/leverage, where we will be trading live, where we'll be streaming live. I stream 5 times a week, so go ahead and watch that as well. Now, again, if you have not seen the whole series yet, I recommend you begin from the start of the series at the introduction for the From Nothing to Profitable series. This will be a 14-part series. This is only video 7 of that. Following everything you will see here today, we will go ahead and get into examples of how I trade, how I journal, how I set a system, how I make rules for myself, and how you guys will be able to do the same thing. So again, I appreciate everybody who showed up and watched this video today. If you found value in this, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe to see the next one. I will catch you guys on the next. Peace out, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.